Let's give a round of applause for everyone in the room.
Well done.
Thank you. Welcome to Sports Section. It has been such a crazy weekend. Home team Brandon Lake directly to my left, 680 The Fan. What's going on, my friend?
Good to see you. Good to talk sports with a lot of good things going on.
And you saw the timeout clap?
We'll get into it.
It's in the angle.
It is in the angle, of course. Joe Patrick from 92.9 The Game over there. You were doing all things Falcons lately, but you're dialed into everything else. What's going on with you?
I am, and it feels like peak college football season. After the drama at Jordan-Hare last night, I know it wasn't the prettiest thing, but it felt like just the beauty of college football in that game.
Hey, look, a win is a win. That's what
right.
all coaches say. A win is a win. And it was not very pretty, but it was Georgia that got it done, and that is what's important. That failed tush push is really what saved the game for the Bulldogs home team. And it was right before the 2-minute that took 417 minutes.
Oh my God.
That was forever long in Jordan-Hare. But the fact that Georgia was able to weather the storm of the first half and get it done in the second, what does that say about the Bulldogs?
Well, they're resilient. We saw it in the Tennessee game when they came out and had to deal with an incredible offense that put them back on their heels. And now, basically, with the game on the line, you had nothing going at all offensively. You have to come up with the play of the game in the first half, and you're able to stop. And Auburn, they can talk about the timeout, not the timeout, fumble, not the fumble. The bottom line is, when you get to the 1-yard line or the 1-inch line, you have to protect the football. And Kirby Smart, in his post-game presser, talked about them practicing knocking and punching the ball out.
Yeah.
So his team was prepared and properly coached. And Jackson Arnold, he fumbles the ball. You have to hold the pig like it's the last piece of bacon you're ever going to get, and you can't fumble it away. He didn't fumble. The fumble was forced.
Yeah.
You have to give the Dogs and Kirby a lot of credit for coming back in that environment, which was insane at Jordan-Hare.
I have seen so much go down at Jordan-Hare. That place is haunted. It is true. Nick Saban said that on College Game Day. I can confirm. I've seen so many things where ghosts just come out of the woodwork to haunt the opposing teams that are playing at that stadium. But what's crazy about it, Joe, is when that was going down, the tush push that failed for Auburn quarterback Jackson Arnold that home team is talking about, there was this deafening silence and then uproar from the Auburn fan base. What was your assessment of that entire thing? It was ruled a fumble on the field. They took 15 minutes to look at it, and it was upheld.
I think that moment, it kind of encapsulates the difference between these two programs, between Georgia and Auburn, where I get it. Auburn feels like, they got the short end of the stick there. There were some other instances in the game where you can argue, some are legitimate arguments that they had about the way things were going, but it felt to me like they were getting caught up in some of this drama and that we got the short end of the stick while
Look at the
Georgia
fans throwing stuff on the
exactly
field.
And on the other end and Georgia took advantage of this and the state that Auburn was in. Hugh Freeze he seemed like a mess on the sideline. I saw after the game the AD was also yelling at the officials. I think that just shows you kind of where Auburn is and the frustration that program is feeling, where Georgia feels like they can take advantage of these opportunities.
Winners find a way to win, and losers worry about losing. And that's pretty much the bottom line. You still had a half of football to play. You still were at home, and you still had a chance to do some things in the second half, and Georgia was better than you.
It's tough for Auburn because they've been really close, and they now have 3 straight losses. And you're right. When you focus on the wrong things in football, you're going to get bit every time. Kirby Smart never blames the officials, even though, a couple of breaks went the Bulldogs' way. They still find ways to win. It's why they're consistently a good football team. And Gunnar Stockton, he's consistently a good quarterback because he finds a way to win. He may not always be the best one on the field, home team, but he's finding a way to make his team be successful.
When they fumbled, when Jackson Arnold fumbled, did it start at the 50-yard line or at the 20-yard line of the Auburn Tigers? No, they had to go the length of the field in order to get some points and then see if they could change momentum in the second half. And they still didn't have things go their way. They went for it on 4th down and didn't convert, and they still had to overcome adversity. So when things don't go your way, you find out who you are. And I think now in 2 big games in the SEC on the road, we have found out who the Bulldogs are. They are resilient, and you better not leave the door cracked open, or else they're going to bite through it and make you pay for it.
They're resilient and they're tenacious. They're just one of those teams that's not going to go away in a game. And I think that this game was the perfect example of a team that they could have been down and out, but they're down at the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
They find a way to punch that ball out, like you said, home team, through the instruction and practice that they had, and then they just make their way throughout the rest of the game. It felt like it was kind of an inevitable outcome after that fumble.
Yeah, credit to C.J. Allen punching that ball out. And this is obviously a mammoth matchup coming up for the Georgia Bulldogs, a top 10 matchup with whispers Maria's Ole Miss Rebels in Athens.